Disappointing result for the Philadelphia Union on the road. They lose 2-1 at New York City FC. And welcome back into our Comcast studios in Philadelphia with Tommy Smith. I'm Dave Leno. It seemed, Tommy, that the Union made the necessary adjustments to jumpstart the second half, but then after that Pico goal, it went very south.
Yeah, we talked about what they had to do in the second half. They came out and they did it, and they eventually got the goal, which to me was the key thing, but then they just couldn't hold it. I mean, you have to be fit to mark up on corner kicks. You can't afford to let somebody free on a corner kick, and they did it twice.
We made so much about the narrow pitch at Yankee Stadium. What were your thoughts seeing this matchup play out? Because it seems like each team was really feeling each other out, and they weren't really maintaining the possession battle. In fact, the Union had more of the numbers in the possession game.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game for the Union in terms of possession, because it took them a long while to get acclimatized to the size of the field. And, you know, when you have players on top of you all the time, it's very hard to have possession. But they looked like they had the job done when they got the one-goal lead. It looked like it might lead to 3 points, but didn't work out that way.
Let's take a look at the offensive and defensive players of the game, brought to you by Toyota.
Well, I mean, Craval coming in had a great game for the Union. It's his first game back. Bedoya's not here, so Craval was the man who was there. David Villa on the other side was the man who created so many opportunities. I mean, he has to be very frustrated tonight, because Blake really had the hex sign on David Villa today, and he stopped him at least 4 times. He stuffed him 4 times. So, you know, between the two of them, I think they played very well. Villa didn't score, but he nevertheless was a very, very important factor.
Andre Blake has had a marvelous season for the Philadelphia Union, but Warren Craval made his first start in place of Alejandro Bedoya. He had a great game.
Yeah, he had a great game because he's experienced, Dave, and he didn't try to overdo it. And then when he did get himself feeling comfortable in the game, he was inclined to push forward, and I thought he was very impressive.
Now, the Union had a disappointing result at RSL last weekend. How did you like the response? Yes, they go down in the loss column again, but do you think they came in a little sharper in the final third today despite the loss?
Oh, yeah, they were much sharper today. I mean, it may have taken them 30 minutes to get going, but when they got going, they were very sharp. And all things considered, it was a great performance by the Union. It's just very unfortunate that they had to lose.
Well, let's take a look at the full highlights of this matchup. A 2-1 loss at New York City FC, starting with the first half, Tommy.
Well, Morales is the man who sneaks in here at the back, walks in, a couple of touches on the ball, and then he just balloons it up onto the subway. And then on the opposite end, El Seno forces Johnson into a move, and then this ball comes off the post. Ring hits it on the post first, and then David Villa forces Blake into a good save. Sneaking it along the line, another good save. David Villa is the man taking the shot again. That's why he was the offensive player of the game for me. And this is Pontius. Just couldn't beat the keeper. He beat the defender to it all right, but he couldn't beat the keeper. And then here's Pico. CJ fed it to him. Pico did the rest as he put it in the corner of the net. Beautiful, beautiful strike. Then another good save again. Guess who? David Villa and Blake. They had their own personal battle the whole game. Nothing Blake could do about this one. There was no way he could get out to it. And this is the second corner kick. This is let bounce around a little bit. There was a little bit of ball watching. And in the end, when Blake knocked it down in the middle, there was nobody there to clear it out. And New York City got the winner.
Was it surprising for you that both of those goals came off of set pieces and corners? Because the Union have been sharper in the defensive third, aiding with their 4 out of the last 5 games that they've won. But now, obviously, 4 of their last 6 because they lost today.
Yeah, everybody's got to match somebody on a corner kick. Everybody's got to look for somebody on a corner kick, and obviously it didn't happen.
Let's take a look at the final numbers from this match. We mentioned that the Union dominated in the possession game, but New York City FC, 15 quality chances, 9 on frame, and Andre Blake again made some fantastic saves despite New York City FC maintaining possession 63% of the time. More of our post-game coverage will continue on the other side. The Philadelphia Union Union suffer their second consecutive defeat, losing 2-1 at New York City FC. And with Tommy Smith, I'm Dave Leno. One of the bright spots for the Philadelphia Union this afternoon was Warren Cavall. Last year made 21 starts, took the place of Alejandro Bedoya with the U.S. men's national team, has a friendly tonight against Venezuela. What did you make of Cavall? He played about 71 minutes today.
Well, he played very well, Dave, and, he has a lot of experience. He's a player that's been around a long time. He's played a lot of games for the Union, so he knew exactly what his situation was coming in, and he didn't push forward until he felt really comfortable in the game. And then when he did feel comfortable in the game, he did push forward, and I think he had a huge influence on the game.
And he's following the footsteps of Union goalkeeper of the year, Andre Blake. Had a marvelous season last year, really picking up in 2017 as well.
Yeah, I mean, David Villa is going to have nightmares about Andre Blake tonight, because everywhere he shot from, it looked like he was hitting it off Blake. Blake was in the right spot all the time, came up with a number of key saves. It'd be one of those days where David Villa said to himself, hey, I could have had a hat-trick in this situation only for Blake. Blake was brilliant.
He has 5 shutouts this season, Tommy, which is tied second in MLS. And, Tommy, also with Andre Blake, yes, he's one of the best keepers in Major League Soccer, but folks have to give him a lot of credit, too. And that's because there's been so much interchange with that back line of the Philadelphia Union, in particular on the right side. In the beginning of the year it was Rosenberry, now it's Gaddis, and then with the center backs it's changed.
Yeah, it certainly did, and it changed. You know when it changed? It changed when Onyewu went off today. I mean, there was a change on that left-hand side because Onyewu and Fabinho had it worked out what they were doing. Richie Marquez came in to place of Onyewu, and it didn't seem to work as well for the two players involved because they got beaten a number of times on that short side. I mean, letting somebody come across the byline, hey, you got a shoulder. That's where he should be.
Let's take a look at the updated Eastern Conference standings following this matchup. This was the first of 8 games on the MLS dock, and you see New York City FC leapfrog Chicago and Orlando up to second.
Yeah, and you see the Philadelphia in 9th spot. They were in 7th spot. You know, you hate to lose a game like this, but you gotta take out of it and say, hey, we were in Yankee Stadium, we were in a field that we don't particularly like because the size of it, we had the game wrapped up more or less, and then we came along and we give it away. So you have to build on that. Hey, we gotta play 90 minutes. What did we say at the beginning? 90 minutes that the defense had to be zoned in. It proves they weren't. To give up 2 goals.
And that really has been a theme for Jim Curtin attending his weekly press conferences. He wants a full 90-minute performance, and it has to go from front to back. And that defense starts with C.J. Sapong. C.J. did not score in this matchup, Tommy, but he was brilliant with his two-way playing throughout.
Yeah, he was. He's a very, very hard worker. He never stops going. In fact, he got himself a yellow card tonight for his hard work. But he is one of the most influential players in this league.
Because remember, Jay Simpson was starting in place of Sapong in the beginning part of the year. Now CJ has 8 goals, came in tied third with David Villa in MLS, and he really has been doing great things in the attacking third. And he's had some different pieces as well that Union fans have seen on the wing. Remember, Chris Pontius started out on one side, then was flipped to the right. You had Fabian Herbers come in. He's dealing with a groin injury about 2 to 4 weeks, and Fafa Pico has been picking up in his void.
Yeah, he has, and he took his goal very, very well tonight. I didn't think he had the influence on the game up until that he might have had, but hey, in the end, if you get a goal, you've had a good night. It's a good night for you.
Well, the Union fall 2-1 here against New York City FC. We'll continue our post-game coverage when we return on the other side. The Union suffer their second consecutive defeat. They fall at New York City FC 2-1. And back our Union postgame live with Tommy Smith. I'm Dave Leno. And you talked about having a complete 90-minute performance. And Jim Curtin said coming into this match, you don't want to chase the game. Unfortunately, they had to do that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate that they did kind of, before that they had bent, but they hadn't broken. The ball came back off the upright for them. Villa hit the crossbar with it. So things were going their way. But when you asked me for the keys of the game early on, I said that the defence has to be zoned in for 90 minutes. Obviously, that zoning was just a little bit off because they weren't zoned in on those 2 corner kicks. I mean, those are supposed to be situations where you pick up your man, you stay with your man, you make sure that your man doesn't get himself an opportunity. But to give up 2 goals on them.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of those goal-scoring opportunities. In fact, here are the 3 goals of the matchup.
Well, this is a good goal from Pico, cutting in on that far side. CJ had led the ball out to him. He turns the defender the wrong way and he slaps it into the back of the net. And then here you go, there's the first goal. That one came from Chameau, the defender coming out. Look at, he gets in front of his man and he heads the ball into the back of the net just by Blake. I mean, and then this thing is allowed to bounce around. Look at, you can't let the ball bounce around like that. And when Blake knocks it out, it's very easy for Coyones to just slap it home.
That was the initial shot by David Villa. He had multiple opportunities. Blake shut him down in this matchup. Game planning for a guy like that reminds me of a Sebastian Jovinko, someone up top like a Chris Wondolowski who is really a threat to score. What did you make of the Union today against Villa? Obviously, Blake made some fantastic saves against him.
Well, they nullified him because Blake was on his game and Blake made sure that he didn't score. But they're going to feel very upset that they kept Blake out of the scoring column and yet now they give up 2 goals to 2 central defenders. I mean, if you're looking at something we've been talking about is that the Union have done a good job of making sure that the big men coming into the game haven't beaten them. The big men today would be Morales and Villa. Those were the guys you were expecting that were going to score. They didn't score. Blake stopped them. But then 2 centre-backs come up and score. What can I tell you?
Well, Tommy, you've broadcast this game for a number of years. You understand when these center backs come in on set pieces, sometimes players forget to mark them or just lose them because they're going off the back shoulder of another attacking player. So what adjustments will the Union see on the game film that they'll have to make moving forward after the international break, specifically on these set pieces?
Yeah, well, they'll have to decide what way they're going to play. Are they going to pick up the men, or they're going to play zone, but they're going to play man-to-man? What are they going to do? You can't afford to let somebody run free in the box on a corner kick. There's got to be somebody on him. If there's not, you see what happened. I mean, there wasn't tonight. I mean, Blake made the initial save. Blake made the second save. But when he played it out into the middle, there was nobody there to clear it out. Yet, no, there was enough of Union players around, Dave, but none of them got to it to clear it out.
Let's take a look at the next 4 games for the Philadelphia Union in MLS competition. It begins on the 18th against rival New York Red Bulls. Remember, that started the 4-game winning streak. DC has Patrick Mullins back. The New England Revolution and Sporting KC from the West in good form. Tough start. And the Philadelphia Union will fall nonetheless here against New York City FC. We will continue our post-game coverage after this. The Union go into the FIFA international break with their second consecutive loss as they fall to New York City FC. With Tommy Smith, I'm Dave Leno. And Tommy, Harris Medunjanin wore the captain's armband this afternoon because Bedoya is with the U.S. men's national team. They have a friendly tonight against Venezuela, have 2 World Cup qualifiers coming up. But Medunjanin specifically didn't seem like he was on the ball all that much in the first half, but it got better as the game went on.
Yeah, he got more used to his confines as the game went on because Medunjanin is used to driving those balls at distance down so as that somebody can run onto them. Plus the fact he had a new partner in that he didn't have Bedoya with him. But, you know, as the game went on, he did well.
So with the FIFA international break upcoming, what kind of adjustments will you see the Union making before, as we documented, those next road games in MLS competition, beginning with the Red Bulls?
Well, I just said that, the coaching staff will be making sure to work on set pieces and making sure they don't give anything up. And also they'll be working on finishing. They need to finish better.
And we should mention that the Philadelphia Union will be in the 4th round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. They will face City Islanders FC, formerly known as Harrisburg City Islanders. That will take place on Wednesday, June 14th. Tommy, final thoughts on this one?
Well, it was one that they let get away. That's simple.
All right, well, the Union fall 2-1 at New York City FC. It's the second loss to New York City FC this season. For Tommy Smith and our entire crew, this is Dave Leno saying thanks so much for watching this afternoon. Join us again on Saturday the 24th at 7 p.m. on 6 ABC when the Union take on conference rival DC United. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.